There's only a few real Freemasons that exist. In other words, when I say a few, I'm talking about maybe a few hundred.
Y'all watch this right here, watch. You see that?
This is where it gets crazy, right? So he goes another day. Now this is during daylight. And what does he see?
We've had some zombie activity in these derelict buildings in this.
Forehead, and it reads the law of the call.
You guys heard of this thing, right? This sphere thing in Las Vegas? I've seen all these videos about it, and I was just like, what?
Yo, man, what's going on with everybody, man? Today, y'all already know what to expect. I don't got to do too much talking, man. I do hope that you all are able to enjoy today's video, man. Today, we have another crazy case of these things are going to change your reality. Let's push up to at least 15,000 likes for today's video, and I do hope that you all enjoyed it or at least learned something informative of today. And until then, let's get into it.
Inside that rock-looking structure are tissue, cells, and protein still there.
All right, so let's go back for a second, because if this horn or part of a dinosaur had been buried for millions and millions of years, you would not expect to still be able to see tissue. But are you saying that's what we're finding?
That is absolutely what we're finding. In fact, in a Nature communication paper in 2015, they referred to it as common. See the fibrous material there? That's part of the composition of the bone matrix itself. But what's really of interest is see the white material here on the surface swaying back and forth? That's actual dinosaur tissue on the surface. See, this is not a solid fossil. This has got tissue characteristic to it. See, notice how it flexes back. And that's, of course, very interesting, how you pull on it, flexes back, pull on it, flexes back. That's characteristic of tissue. That's what tissue would do. Now, Mark then was able to extract some very thin layers of elastic material away from the inner core of the horn. But he didn't have to decalcify the horn in order to do this. You can see it's stretchy, it's flexible. In fact, look, notice, see how it's stretching? It's stretching almost to twice its original size of what it was. Right. So this, again, is original dinosaur tissue that he's peeled directly from the fossil. There was no decalcification that he did first. See, this is how accessible this tissue was. He didn't have to remove any fossilized bone to get to this tissue. Any competent biochemist knows that tissue, cells, proteins break down. They're not concrete. They don't just exist for eons of time. They break down. And in fact, they tend to break down fairly quickly depending upon the conditions. And certainly in Hell Creek, the conditions would be warm up, cool down, warm up, cool down. We found this horn, for example, just a mere 1 foot below the surface. So there was no thermal protection by being deep in the ground. So it would have been very much subjected to fluctuations of hot and cold and hot and cold. And any biochemist can tell you that is the fastest way to destroy material.
It's only two questions here. One, they've been lying to us this entire time. Or two, these are fake fossils that they are claiming to be dinosaurs. Y'all let me know down below how y'all feel. What y'all think, which one is which?
Deal with the Freemasons.
There's only a few real Freemasons that exist. In other words, when I say a few, I'm talking about maybe a few hundred, maybe at the at the top level, that really know the ancient secrets. Only a very small, and I do mean small, amount of people that really house and hold the true knowledge of the ancient past as the top level Freemasons. This goes all the way back to deep antiquity. We're talking about 30,000 plus years ago. There were these brick masons in ancient Kemet called the Shatu. After the Great Flood, Amun-Ra, aka Marduk, he's known as Marduk in the Bible, M-A-R-D-U-K, some people say Marduk, depending on how you want to pronounce his name. He's also in the Jewish Torah as well. In Kemet, he was known as Amun-Ra, and this is why people say Amen, actually, it's to him. He actually made it a rule, a law. But he had these brick masons helping him rebuild the land of Kem. And these brick masons had the secret knowledge of space flight, technologies, how to turn stone structures into advanced computer housing, data storage devices, as well as power generators and many other functions. A lot of the stone structures that were built were actually multifunctional stone computers.
Y'all watch this right here. Watch.
Oh.
You see that? Look, y'all need to go follow this guy too, man. Watch this.
No, they gotta be an edit.
Some things just can't be explained, man. Yeah, that's right.
Nah.
Back across, man. And their reaction.
Whoa. Now I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. This video do not look anything close to fabricated. You know, I always tell you all when I feel like something was fake. But then again, we're in 2024 and it's so easy to deceive people nowadays. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about this down below. Do y'all feel like that was real, or do you feel like that film was fabricated?
Now keep in mind, this guy's dead right now. He goes to the same mountain, it's gone. It's not there. And he actually talked to some locals. They pretty much said, yeah, it comes and goes. Yeah, it's real. This is where it gets crazy, right? Okay. So he goes another day. Now this is during daylight. And what does he see? What? He sees helicopters in the same mountain, presumably extracting what's there. After seeing the CIA agent, he decides to go another time during night, and he still sees him again. It's the same like roadblock. It says you can't pass through here, right? After he sees that guy, he goes home, and he says that he's being stalked because in another TikTok here, he shows outside, and then there's cars that followed him, and it looks like the same. It looks like the same car. It's the same vehicle that he saw, and look, it just drives away. Yeah, it just drives away. This is where it gets crazy, because he puts out an official statement. He gives an official update. So people are saying when he says this statement, he's looking to the side and he seems really nervous, unlike his other videos, and they think he's forced to make this claim.
Sorry to disappoint you guys, but all of the videos,
yeah, he looks to his left, right?
all the videos that I posted were scripted. They're just fake. They're just strictly for entertainment videos. Sorry to disappoint you guys. I just need to give you a quick update.
That was his last video for I think 3 months. For 3 months. And then he posts this.
You might not see me post ever again. My videos weren't fake.
So he says they're not fake. And this is his last video that he ever posted. Look. And he says he sees military on the same mountain. Look. What? Where he saw the giant. Are we allowed to be talking about this? That's the last time they ever heard about him. And no, he's actually, like, you can Google his obituary. He's dead.
What? Yeah, at this point, I feel like we don't even need to be looking at this. I didn't see nothing, you know, so I hope y'all didn't see anything as well.
You heard what happened with like Cat Williams just now, right?
Oh yeah, I seen that.
How he had like
interview.
He had an interview and he was like breaking everything down with like the Illuminati and all that. So pretty much what he said was, if you want to know if somebody's getting like in the Illuminati or being tested, a lot of black comedians, they put them in a dress, and then that's one of their things. Cat Williams said that. Fam, there's an edit, and you can look for it right now. Almost every single black comedian has put on a dress. Now, one of them being Kevin Hart. And Kevin Hart even made a joke about it. He's like, yo, I'll never be put in a dress. I'll never be put in a dress. This and that. Fam, Kevin Hart ended up in a dress.
Really? He did. He definitely did.
Why though?
So it's part of what they call like a humiliation ritual, right? Fam, if you look back at every single comedian, especially the ones that were popping for their generation, when they're on their way up, that's when they make them do it. Now, one of the biggest ones being Dave Chappelle. But Dave Chappelle didn't. He didn't. But that was when he had to leave Hollywood, remember? Because he knew like there's something going on.
Yeah.
Man, that dress theory that's been going on, I'm telling you all, it's never going to stop. It's just so much going on in Hollywood right now. I'm honestly at a loss for words.
They are interdimensionally sucking the essence of our youth.
Right.
And they believe they're possessed by an off-world entity.
They do?
Yeah, and then, Joe, I've been on air 22 years. I don't get into aliens, metaphysical, religion, any of that. I've studied the elite, and I've also communicated with a lot of the top people. And if you want to know, I will actually break down right now the best knowledge right now on what's happening on the planet.
What's happening?
Let me give you a basic gestalt.
Okay. I love when you can use that word with full confidence. I've never said that. Let me give you a basic gestalt. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm such a fraud.
No, you're not.
No, but that's what I'd think if I use that word.
No, you'll get all this because you'll already have most of the static because you're a bookworm, a research worm, in a good way. The elite are all about transcendence and living forever and the secrets of the universe, and they want to know all this. Some are good, some are bad, some are a mix. But the good ones don't ever want to organize. The bad ones tend to want to organize because they lust after power. Powerful consciousnesses don't want to dominate other people. They want to empower them, so they don't tend to get together until things are really late in the game. Then they come together. Evil's always defeated because good is so much stronger. And we're on this planet, and Einstein's physics showed it, Max Planck's physics showed it all. There's at least 12 dimensions. And now that's why all the top scientists and billionaires are coming out saying it's a false hologram. It is artificial. The computers are scanning it and finding tension points where it's artificially projected and gravity's bleeding in to this universe. That's what they call dark matter. So we're like a thought or a dream that's a wisp in some computer program, some God's mind, whatever. They're proving it all. It's all coming out. Now, there's like this sub-transmission zone below the third dimension that's just turned over to the most horrible things is what it resonates to. And it's trying to get up into the third dimension that's just a basic level consciousness to launch into the next levels. And our species is already way up in the fifth, sixth dimension, consciously our best people. But there's this big war trying to like basically destroy humanity because humanity has free will and there's a decision to which level we want to go to. We have free will, so evil's allowed to come and contend, not just good. And the elites themselves believe they're racing using human technology to try to take our best minds and build some type of breakaway civilization where they're going to merge with machines, transcend, and break away from the failed species that is man, which is kind of like a false transmission because they're thinking what they are is ugly and bad, projecting it onto themselves instead of believing, no, it's a human test about building us up. And so Google was set up 18, 19 years ago. I knew about this before it was declassified. I'm just saying I have good sources. That they wanted to build a giant artificial system. And Google believes that the first artificial intelligence will be a supercomputer based on the neuron activities of the hive mind of humanity with billions of people wired into it with the Internet of Things. And so all of our thoughts go into it, and we're actually building a computer that has real neurons in real time that's also psychically connected to us, that are organic creatures, so that they will have current prediction powers, future prediction powers, a true crystal ball. But the big secret is, once you have a crystal ball and know the future, you can add stimuli beforehand and make decisions that control the future. And so then it's the end of consciousness and free will for individuals, as we know, and a true 2.0 in a very bad way, hive mind consciousness with an AI jacked into everyone, knowing our hopes and dreams, delivering it to us, not in some PKD wirehead system where we plug in and give up on consciousness because of unlimited pleasure, but because we were already wired in and absorbed before we knew it by giving over our consciousness to this system by our daily decisions that it was able to manipulate and control into a larger system. There's now a human counterstrike taking place to shut this off before it gets fully into place and to block these systems and to try to have an actual debate about where humanity goes and cut off the pedophiles and psychic vampires that are control of this AI system before humanity's destroyed.
Wait a minute, humanity is only controlled of AI? How'd the pedophiles get in control of AI?
The pedophiles at a whatever level, the devil, whatever you want to call it, this interdimensional thing that gives them advanced off-world technology, the fallen one that's not of this world, is giving them advanced knowledge on how to construct these systems that have already been used before on other populations.
What?
Is that Satan?
But what are you talking about?
Let's say.
But explain that. You're saying
Satan
something
becomes
insane.
something that the stupid preacher tells you about, who's totally controlled, or something you read about on in the news or TV.
Right.
But this is an interdimensional force that wants to influence us to build something that absorbs us and kills us, rather than the divine free will we're given to build something much better that empowers the species. So the species is now making a decision about its entire future.
Where are you getting this from?
That's what it is.
But where are you getting it from?
I know, from looking at all the data, researching it, studying it, watching the activity found. Listen closely to what he says.
You want to ask me?
All right, now we're recording. So, all right, because I am Specialist Guy Malinsky, Washington National Guard. This is Specialist Woolman, Washington National Guard. And what are we doing here, Specialist Woolman?
Well, as you see, we have a couple lanes up here. We've had some zombie activity in these derelict buildings in this little Salem, little country town. We're just trying to clear it out, trying to keep everybody safe. We haven't had any casualties come through just yet, but we have had some gunshots in these surrounding buildings.
Well, why don't we take a walk down there and see? So,
Yes.
so how common are these things?
Well, we're thinning out the herd slightly, but it's still a really menacing threat.
Yeah, people don't know that it's actually a biological threat, not a chemical or radiological, like people are meant to know.
Biological. Common misconception, but biological as it is, it's like a rash, as you say. It's something in the environment that you just have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? We're doing the best we really can.
It springs up, I think in America it springs out fairly commonly. I'd say once every 3 months somewhere in America. All right.
Now, you see this big building right here?
Yeah.
We already cleared this one out about 2 hours ago. But we still hear noises, we still hear some scraping around in there. We think there might be a couple little things still going on. But we're going to send another sweep through there, and I just said we're right now set up for any possible contamination.
All right, and the point of this right now is to decon any of our guys or any civilians that are caught.
Absolutely. Anything from a slight blood splatter to a full-on bite or a penetrating wound.
Fun fact, not everyone who gets bitten transforms. I know there's a lot of misconception with all the movies and stuff going on. You know, fairly common. You see these guys just laughing. I mean, it's a pretty safe thing. A full-blown epidemic is pretty much not likely to happen. You have to have a predispositioned ability to get turned into one.
Absolutely. Not only that, but it's a bite that really kills you. You already have the strand available in your stream to turn into this zombie or this flesh eater, or this biggest misconception is that they don't go for the brain. A lot of TV shows put that out that they eat brain, but no.
But nevertheless, we take this quite seriously.
Absolutely.
It's a huge operation we have going right now. We liaison with several different guard agencies and even the Homeland Response.
Yeah, so you can see their major vehicle is just on the other side of this tent. We got to get to a better vantage point to really.
All right, let's take a walk. Yeah.
Yeah, just watch your step. Watch your step.
Of course, of course. I mean, we don't really choose the areas these things happen at. And we got the best option, best place where to do it.
Yeah, you notice how it's basically a backyard, but you got to do what you got to do, or what you have. And around this corner, nice fresh mud. Actually, does slow down the zombie herd.
That just turned out to be advantageous. Right now we're being by the generators, so we probably won't be able to hear much. We got a huge generator farm factory set up. Stretchers, any wounded.
Now these mobile stations up here are the Homeland Defense. They're fairly well organized, and they're really the first responders. You see another one of our derelict buildings. Yet to be cleared out, but we haven't heard a whole lot of activity from it. It's one of our next major hotspots to hit.
We have MPs around the whole area containing the situation so it doesn't spread.
A perimeter is super important in a situation like this. We control what's going on the site, but we have to control what's going on around the site as well.
That we do. And we have a...
I'll take a look at this building again.
All right.
Right there right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw some movement up in the upper building. Just making the final sweep through. Yeah, you see the shadows playing in there. There's definitely somebody walking around in there trying to take care of business, clean up the mess. That's another thing. You don't want wild animals eating this stuff.
No, it's seldom they turn to zombies because it's mostly a human strain, I guess. But
yeah, it's more of the zombies carrying it, or more of the animals carrying it to another person, biting a person, kind of like rabies, but more human selective.
Right, and the person actually has to die of their own accord and then become a zombie.
Right, absolutely.
All right, cool. Wow. Well, we'll get some more footage next, and hopefully this has been informative for people who didn't know this was a big issue. Signing off.
Knowledge is definitely the first.
I've been Specialist Kamielinski.
Specialist Wolman, thank you for the opportunity for this interview.
All right, bye.
Wow, that's
Okay. Specialist Kamielinski, now videotaping you Specialist High. Right now what we've got going on is we're back from the mission right now. We have a work-rest cycle. So this is the mess area right here. They've come service breakfast and lunch. Well, just breakfast at this point. That's all we worked out. We got the MREs for lunch and dinner. So just want to give you a quick shot of the area where we're sleeping. It's always dark because, well, we work at night. Well, I mean, we work a day or night. It's just a pretty cool area. Just gotta keep it quiet when we go down there. Edit out quite a bit of this. Yep.
This is pretty crazy to know that something like this actually exists, and I'm surprised this wasn't all over the internet. I'm not sure if this is some type of film or movie, but can anybody do any research to either confirm or debunk this situation?
Something extremely strange caught my eye when I was watching the Grammys last night. So Doja Cat pulled up and I noticed that she had a bunch of new tattoos, but one in particular caught my eye, and it was the one on her forehead, and it reads Delara Findikoglu. And when you look her up, she's a young fashion designer who puts spells and witchcraft into her clothing, and she even says it herself.
With my clothes, I kind of do witchcraft because I believe in reincarnation. Obviously, my spirit chose this body and knew it was going to be fashion designer.
And the deeper you look into her artwork or clothing or designs, whatever you call it, everything is just super dark. She also hosted this dark themed Versailles party, and last year her runway was hosted in what looked like to be an abandoned church or warehouse. And I thought they played music during her runway show, but hers, she played the sound of water dropping. Listen to this.
Man, it's creepy. Man, that is creepy. I don't know about y'all, but they just gave me the complete chills. I mean, but it isn't a coincidence. It's just scary to see Doja Cat back in 2019 to Doja Cat in 2024. I don't even think I know who she is anymore.
Okay, so you guys heard of this thing, right? The sphere thing in Las Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen all these videos about it, and I was just like, what? Talk about hiding something in plain sight, or just blatantly putting it out there and not even trying to hide it anymore. What am I talking about? This one right here reminded me of the Earth and the original organic matrix. But look what it does. I don't have the video, I just have pictures. Look, it's starting to be covered with this weird looking thing here and ends up like that. Kind of like the bad matrix over the organic and first matrix. Or a prison planet. That was like subliminal messaging to me. That's how I got it. And then they show us the globe, you know, they gotta make sure you know the Earth is a globe, guys, okay? They had this crazy thing. It was almost like a portal. It was like making you like hypnotized. And then it had like a portal, like a hole opening. And then it looked like that. Look at portal. What is that? The ocean. Gateway. Portals in the ocean. Or you could say, yeah, it just looks like an old-time helmet when you go underwater. Yeah, you could say that. But you could also say what I just said. And then I saw this. Now, granted, they have tons of, you know, looks and visions or whatever, screens and movies, whatever it's on there. I got this from this person. This is his video. But the eye, it reminds me of the Eye of Sauron. You remember the Eye of Sauron? This guy That's what it reminds me of. Okay, any thoughts? What do you think? You think this is really just a cool...
Or just appreciate the engineering?
Cool advertising tool.
Yeah, you all let me know how y'all feel about this down below. I actually stayed right next. I'm talking like you can touch the sphere when I went to Las Vegas last time, and it was a beautiful experience. The only thing I would say that was weird was when you actually go inside that sphere and you get a look at the concerts, the numbers that you see. And I know you all seen that video, but it just doesn't make sense.
But we do have black people that get on the radio every day in white-owned companies, white-owned stations with white-owned sponsors that play the role of hypersexualized, hypercriminalized male. I ask these advertisers, I say, I've got hundreds of songs a day that celebrate killing animals. Will you put them on your station? They said, no. I got hundreds of songs a day that talk about assaulting women and abusing kids. Would you put them on your station? They said, no. I said, I got hundreds of songs a day that talk about murdering blacks. Would you put them on your stations? They said, well, that depends. Depends on what? Who it's done by and who it's branded for. Because if we can get black folks to sing about it and we can brand it for our youngest black audiences, I think there's money to be made. I think there's American appetites to see these people that way. I said, how can you say that? They said, well, look, it's what these artists know. It's what they, black people, create. It's, matter of fact, our surveys say it's what they want to hear, which speaks of a sickness. How do we live in a society where somebody says, you know what, I'm inspired to write a song that celebrates murdering another person. And then a person says, I'd like to put that on my station. Another person said, I'd like to pay for it. And then there's people out here in the audience that go, I'd love to hear it, as long as it's black guys. Because even white people buy rap music, buy this type of stuff, because we know that when we want to hear about killing each other, we know who to turn to for that type of inspiration. We call it our music. We say we own it. White people buy more rap than black people. Yeah, but we're very careful to turn it down at the stoplight when other black people are there. Why? Because we know we're just pretending. For them, it's more authentic and real. I always ask the companies, what about your name? What about your brand? What about your value? And the largest radio company in the world said this: it's okay that we only have drug dealers on our black youth stations. We only have murders on our black youth stations. We support black charities. We give out water at the Martin Luther King parade. I think we've got it covered. We've bought them off. Now, people get upset, the smartest guys in the room again. You're talking about censorship. I don't believe that. I believe in free art. Make whatever you want. I believe you should make music about anti-Semitism. I believe you should make music about killing dogs. I believe in this country you should make music about bashing homosexuals and driving them behind trucks. I believe you should make music about stringing people up on trees. I believe you should make music about killing whitey. I believe you should make all that music. But I also believe that in the mainstream marketplace, people should hesitate associating their name with certain content. You know, there's certain stuff you can't buy at the store. Certain stuff you can't get on iTunes because their brand doesn't want it. But if you want to hear black people celebrating killing black people, they got thousands and thousands and thousands of those things to sell you. I don't think it's about censorship. I think it's about American cultural hypocrisy. Because here's the truth. These black entertainers, they can't sing just about anything. There's some stuff that'll get them fired, and they get dropped, and they get fired, and they get slapped on the wrist, and they get disciplined all the time. Why? Because sometimes they step over the bounds. A very famous case is what happened with Rick Ross. Rick Ross is the Mammy Two Shoes, one of the many Mammy Two Shoes of our day. He's a black entertainer in a world carved out for him, and a role carved out for him by white entertainment companies. And one day he talked about, in the middle of a song that celebrated dealing drugs and killing blacks, he made a reference to date rape. And when he made that reference to date rape, that set social media on fire. That got 100,000 petitions in 24 hours. Hey, buddy, date rape is no joke. That had white people standing outside of Reebok in New York saying, you better take this seriously. We're tired of a rape culture in America. One line in one song moved the masses. And you know what Reebok did? Did they stand by him and say, hey, we believe in freedom of speech. We believe in freedom of expression. It's just a song. Calm down. No, they fired his tail on the spot. The president came out and said, this goes against our high standards. He's gone against the values of our brand. Shame on Rick Ross. We're disappointed. He doesn't know how serious date rape is. And when I saw that, I thought, wow, how convenient. Isn't that amazing? But here's what really happened. It's not their brand. It's not their values. Rick Ross went off script.
That is true. This video's not done, but it was about that part when Rick Ross was like, I put Molly all in her champagne. She ain't even know it. I took her home and I enjoyed that. She ain't even know it. It was that song. The She Ain't Even Know It. I think it got Future in it too. Yeah, I can listen to it. And yeah, that whole Reebok situation is real.
He was hired to get black customers, and they think that black customers go with black bait. And in America, black bait is the hypercriminalized, hypersexualized portrayal of black people. And as long as he had sung about that, the stuff that got him hired, he still have a job at Reebok. But when he touched other sensitivities that affect us, he lost his job. See, the truth is, it's not they that need to change. It's we that need to change. We created the lies. We created them for our profit. We own the companies. We own the record labels. We own the advertisers, and we keep putting it out. And it's this that's got to change. I thought about it. You know what? I wonder if White Mike could get anybody's attention on this. So I stood outside of a Walmart, and I said, hey, I don't think killing cops and killing blacks is very cool. And you know what? It only took 7 weeks of Mike standing out there, and they wrote a letter and said, yeah, we don't think it's cool either. We're going to pull our name off of that. The largest retailer in the world had never considered that maybe their commercial shouldn't be right before or after a song about young black men being gunned down. And I realized this, that black murder is normal, but it should not be. And I realized the importance at the coffee table, at every headline, every pastor's gathering, every family gathering to say, you know what, these black lives matter. It's not just another black kid. These are human beings. I'm doing my best in every way, shape, and form. Talks like this everywhere I can go to say, you know what, I was born in a world where black murder was normal. My kids were born into a world where black murder is normal, but I don't want to die in a world where black murder is normal. Ooh. Am I 5 years or 10 years away? I don't know, but I'm screaming as high as I can. Let's feel this pain and let's lift our voice to tell the lies. They are not criminals, they are not deviants, and their lives are just as important as ours. Thank you very much.
Man! Shout out to that boy, Michael Smith, bro. I feel like personally, I don't need to do too much talking because he basically like broke down the psychological, I'm talking like aspect or effects on lives in today's society. Like it's all a plan, and that's what a lot of y'all don't understand. When you get into the psychologics, the psychics of everything, it will all make sense, and you will see why everything is already pre-planned, premeditated, pre-organized. Like everything is already made up, and they know exactly what they doing. They ain't just make this rapper blow up for no reason. They see something and they see an influence that he can have on his own people. Just think about the music that you listen to and influence you to do something, whatever that person is promoting. Michael Smith know what he's talking about, and I need to do some more research on this. I want to see this whole thing. I hope that y'all like this because this was some very valuable, deep information that a lot of you all possibly don't understand. But yeah, man, we're going to end today's video off, man. I do hope that you all were able to enjoy today's episode. It's actually pretty cool to know and just learn new things. And I tell you all, every time I watch something like this, I learn something new. It's never a time that I'm really learning something like this, and it's either something I just got like a reminder of or something that I possibly learned that was new. So I do hope that you all were able to enjoy today's video and today's episode, man. And if you all were able to, please do me a huge favor right now and go crazy. When I say go crazy, I want y'all to go buck wild on that like button, man. Let's go ahead and get 30,000 likes. And I'm going to speak this into existence because I believe in life, nothing is never impossible. You know what I'm saying? The tongue is a very powerful thing, and I will manifest this to happen. We will hit 30,000 likes on one of these videos. I promise you, within this year. And it's going to make a big difference just even on my life and you all as well, just even with being supporters of me. It's going to be a lot of more people that come into this family. So if you all enjoy, do me a huge favor and hit that like button, man. You already know we're at the end of the video, so you already know I got another crazy question for y'all. And I know a lot of y'all finna probably pull the hair out your head with this one right here. Question of the day is it acceptable to put pineapples on a taco? And until there, I'll see you all tomorrow.